Hey, so we're
So
back with
remember, even though you see that it says live, it's not live until 45 seconds.
because I was about to start. Stop it.
She's about to go in.
All right, so I'm sure it started. So we're back with another roundtable discussion. Today we'll be talking about: is there a statute of limitations to forgiveness in a relationship? Um, I'm gonna start with introducing myself. My name's Jasmine. What is Z? We're gonna throw it to the other Jasmine. Go ahead.
I'm Jasmine with an S.
All
And
right, my guy Rob.
I'm Rob with an R.
Okay, y'all guys me now. Y'all guys, we we also have Kev. Give him a couple of seconds before he jumps into this.
Girl.
Yeah, I'm bright, light bright. But I'm going to start it off real quick because I don't want to just be sitting here waiting for Kevin. So I'm going to ask you guys this question: do you think it should be a time limit, a statute of limitations, or certain situations to forgiveness in a relationship? Do you think that it's a situation where it's one and done, or
Hell
you
no.
know, or you give or you give a person chances, or how many chances do you give a person? How many times do you forgive a person before you say, you know what, I cannot do this anymore? Jazz.
um, um, I don't believe there is a limitation to forgiveness. I believe when a person just had enough, they had enough. Um, if you're not prepared to forgive for a mistake, or if you're not prepared to forgive for anything for that matter, you're not prepared for anything. I mean, you should not be in a relationship where the moment something goes wrong, you leave. To me, that's not realistic. I don't think that's real.
Well, personally, I think that if it is a relationship in that matter that's like that, I think it goes back to what we were talking about before with the standards. People have very high standards, and people tend to stick to their standards. So it's like, if this is what I told you I wanted when I came into this relationship, and you do something against my standards, so you're telling me I have to forgive you for those things that I already told you I wanted?
Rob?
I feel like that really all depends on the situation. Like it I wasn't supposed to jump in this fast, Kevin. Hold on.
My bad. All right, so let me do this while Rob gathers his thoughts, and I apologize if I didn't clarify. What my issue more so is, right? Not just a matter of the whole forgiveness thing, but more so to the point that once you agree to forgive somebody for something that they did, whatever it is, but usually you see the problem happen when there's cheating involved. A person wants to be forgiven on their terms, on their own time. But when I say there's no statute of limitations, I mean by that, if I tell you I'm going to forgive you for something, I decide when that clock expires, not you. And if I feel like your constant reminder based on the things that you do of what it was that you did that you asked me to forgive you for, I feel like I have every right to start that clock over again. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like people want it on their own terms. That's what I feel like. And I don't feel like that's right. And that's more so what I want y'all to speak to.
So when you say people want it on their own terms, do you mean the person on the opposing side, like the person that you are forgiving wants it on their own terms? So it's like, okay, well, I did this, I only did it once. You almost have to forgive me, like that type of situation.
Well, I guess I don't know. I don't mean to cut Kev off or answer for Kev, but I feel like it's one of those things where it's like if you don't. Go ahead, Kev. Take it again, man.
All right. So let's say y'all two are in a relationship, you Jazz and other Jazz, right? And I'm sorry, I don't mean to call you other Jazz, but it just kind of stuck.
It's okay.
Let's say y'all two are in a relationship, and let's say Jasmine cheats on you, right? And then y'all talk about it, and she decides that she's going to attempt to forgive you for it, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like what most people do is once they hear that they're going to be forgiven for something, they expect that person to just forget what they did, and that relationship continues as if what happened never happened.
Right.
I don't feel like Jasmine would be wrong if she notices similar behaviors, not to say that you necessarily are going to continue to cheat, but if she notices behaviors that reminds her of your cheating, or if you're exhibiting things that causes her to question because you damaged the relationship, I feel like she's well within her rights to remind you of that. I don't feel like forgiveness should come with stipulations on the other side that it's forgive and forget and we just pretend it never happened, because I don't think that's realistic.
No, I believe that you forgive, you don't have to forget. But just because I ain't answer my phone one night, that you got to remember and remind me either.
That's a good point.
The point of forgiving, first of all, you have to be mentally prepared to forgive. My husband cheats on me. My girlfriend cheats on me. Whoever. They cheat on me. I decide to take them back. Now, they do everything. Obviously, when a person gets caught cheating, they're going to do everything right, at the beginning. They're going to call in. They're going to check in. They're not going to go out for a little while. They might take you out to dinner a little bit more. And then things start to kind of slow down, go back to normal. And one night, my mate decides to go to the club, come back at 4 a.m. I can't be like, oh, you cheated before. So, no. I can't forgive you and remind you just because you do one little thing that reminded me of what you've done before. That's not fair. That's horrible in a relationship. In that case, save that. We don't need to be together, and I shouldn't have forgiven you. Can you imagine you cheating on your wife, God forbid, and then she be on your Instagram every day? She be like, you doing what? Oh, you talking to two? Oh, it's gonna be 2 women on your live feed. Like that's annoying. I
feel like that's the price you pay. Yeah, it seems petty, and yeah, it causes stress on the relationship. But I feel like once you break my trust in that way, I always have to question you until I feel like you've proven to me that I don't have to question you anymore. And I feel like if it's too hard for you to deal with that, then that's not fair to me, because I got to deal with the fact of what you did. And even though people can pretend that they've forgotten and moved on, or that they've reconciled that and continue on in the relationship, you're always going to think about that. That's always going to be in the back of your mind. And I feel like if it's naturally going to be in the back of your mind because it's human nature, why shouldn't you be able to speak on it? I don't mean in a sense of you starting arguments and you causing fights, but I mean, I feel like if I cheat on you and you agree to forgive me, whatever I do that might seem a little suspicious, you have a right to talk to me about that. And if I can't handle that, if I'm getting defensive about that, then I don't feel like I'm earning that forgiveness. But I feel like people want it to be handed to them, and I don't agree with that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
That's understandable.
What about you, Jazz?
See, the way I think, the way I think is a little different, because I think it's very hard to forgive certain things. Very, very hard.
It's hard to do what? I'm sorry.
To forgive certain things.
Of course.
It's very hard to forgive those things. Like, cheating is very hard to. People may say they forgive somebody, right, but never really forgave them, and this is why you can't forget. Cheating is very difficult to forget. Cheating, when you cheat, the problem with something as serious as that is everything connects to that.
Right.
So because you cheated, now if you don't answer your phone one time, I'm gonna connect it. If you do come in the house at 4 o'clock in the morning from the club, I'm gonna connect that. If you get what I'm saying? If you're texting your friend that may be a feminine female or whatever the situation, whoever the situation applies to, it's I'm gonna be able to connect those things. So it's very hard to forgive certain things in relationships. So it's like, even though you may want to continue on a relationship, is it even possible to forgive and move on?
It's possible, and I'm gonna tell you.
It is.
It's very possible, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm a literalist, and I feel like people don't use words correctly. Words have meanings, but I feel like people use words more as figures of speech and not what it is that the word actually means. For example, forgiveness does not mean what people use it as. Like the way that people use the term is not what it means. If you look up forgiveness in the dictionary, all it means is that I'm agreeing to not retaliate against you for something you did to me. Forgiveness is another way of saying showing mercy on somebody. I'm not saying that I'm gonna completely pardon you from what you did. I'm just telling you I'm not going to do what you did to me. That's all forgiveness means. There's a lot of baggage that comes with that. And I feel like if people don't understand what basic words mean, how can we be on the same page? Because it is extremely hard to forgive somebody for what they did. But I feel like if they are mindful of how hard it is, they wouldn't be exhibiting those same behaviors. I think in an adult relationship, if you coming in the house at 4 a.m, I think that's crazy. And I don't think that goes far enough to show me that you really about trying to repair the damage that you caused. Because why am I at home and you coming in the house at 4 a.m? I don't see it. I'm sorry. It's disrespectful. Rob?
Yeah. I feel like you can't put, there's people that will honestly, like, they'll do something messed up that's crossing the line. And then after a week of I'm sorry, they're like, all right, get over it. And honestly, that's not fair. You can't really do that. That's extremely selfish.
Right.
But I feel like when it comes to certain things, when you mess up, you really do have to watch how you move.
Right.
The reasonable doubt that anyone would get, you kind of like, when it comes to cheating, you kind of screwed that up already. So it's kind of like you kind of do have to walk on eggshells for a while. But I feel like there's still like a point where if the nest isn't shaking at all, like everything has just been fine ever since that incident, I feel like there is a limit to how long you should hold that grudge for. Because if they honestly like still trying to show that they care and they're trying to make it right and they've been right ever since, I feel like, no, you're not going to forget something like that. But on the other hand, like, you're more secure that this person was doing everything that they possibly could to make you feel comfortable again.
Right.
To give you what you can't, and some will argue which you can't really get 100% back of, which is that trust. But
I agree 100%. But I feel like I'm the person as the victim who decides when it's time to say, okay, all right, it seems like you've been doing right. We could kind of let that one go. I don't feel like the other person should be able to say, all right.
The other person can't dictate at all, but
exactly.
I feel like there should be a reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, but if y'all just started dating, like, let's say 6 months in, like, y'all boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever situation.
I like him, Robert.
I mean, whatever the situation, like, you know what I mean? 6 months in, boom, she cheats. Or other person cheats. I mean, like, all right, it was still kind of, though there's still feelings involved, still technically early in a relationship, maybe for a few months, hold that. But then I guess, like, see how things go after that year anniversary, then, maybe think about letting it go. But I feel like once it's cheating, like, definitely in the midst of we're talking years in relationship,
right?
It kind of brings a question as to, like, yo, what's wrong? And it's like, can this ever be fixed? Are you just gonna tell me, oh, it was just this one time, or this, it was just I drank too much, or whatever the excuse is, instead of something actually deep seated and that may potentially keep repeating.
See, that's the problem I have, ladies, with what he just said, because that's a fact. Because see this, and this is why I'm so hard on people who do that. Because if I caught you cheating, or if it came out to me that you cheated, it did not happen one time. You do not get caught doing something the one time that you did.
If this is one time and you're a rookie, I mean, it could happen, but most likely,
there, but it don't.
Or you know what? It's just not their first time cheating on a person. It may be.
What I'm saying though is, let's say I caught somebody cheating on me, right? But what I discovered that led me to find out they were cheating on me, that cheating didn't just start yesterday. You see what I'm saying? Like because in one
you
of the
just got caught today, huh?
In one of the last round tables,
it was manifesting.
Jasmine made a statement. Her statement was that men typically get caught for cheating more so than women, and that's a fact. But it's not because we're stupid, ladies, and it's not because we're not tuned into shit. The reason is because men are just not wired to believe that their woman would never cheat on them. So we don't typically pay attention to a lot of the shit that females would naturally pay attention to because of some of those natural insecurities. So yeah, we don't notice certain things, and it takes us a while. So by the time I notice it, this shit probably been happening for 6 months, a year, 2 years, or whatever the case. And I feel like I should at the very least, especially if your behavior doesn't drastically change, like Rob said, if you're not constantly reminding me of shit, I should at least be able to get half the time that you spent cheating to test to make sure that you're not about to do that again, or that you really is. Because if there's no punishment, if there's no trial by fire, how can you really show me that you realized that what you did, you didn't want the relationship to end, and that you didn't plan on doing that again? How, if there's no proof of that, how can I comfortably move on knowing that, okay, this person's not going to do this again, if there's no test there?
Because forgiveness is within yourself. I should not have to watch my mate and see what they do in order to realize I forgive them. Forgiveness is within yourself. You have to know when you are ready to forgive them. You have to realize things are going okay. I can trust this person. I get it. You are gonna watch what they do, and you are gonna feel like they have something to prove. But at the end of the day, what if they were cheating on you for a year? Are you gonna literally like be on edge for a year? Like I said, that to me, that's a horrible relationship. I don't want anybody to do that to me. And that's part of the reason why I don't cheat. I don't cheat not because, I know it may sound wrong, but I don't cheat because I think it's bad. I don't cheat because I don't want to deal with that baggage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't cheat because I don't want to hear, oh, bet you it's that nigga calling you. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
I want to be comfortable in my relationship,
right?
Be happy, and
right.
I want to be trusted. The moment, especially women, God, the moment we cheat, we messing with the work husband, we messing with the after school teacher, we messing with the nigga across the street, and the nigga downstairs, and the guy that said hi to you every morning, like
in the mailman.
That was like the mailman that delivers through the back door.
Yeah, like we messing with everybody. So that's why I always say men are stupid. They're not stupid, but I always say men, they don't pay, like you said, they don't pay attention to the things that they do. That's how they always get caught cheating. They be doing some dumb stuff. Like, remember when MySpace was out and you could put people in your top 5? My husband put his side chick at number 2.
But only y'all government sanctioned detective females be on it like that. Wasn't no dude nowhere thinking about, yo, if I put the person in my top 8, yo, she gonna be on it. We don't pay attention to that.
Y'all do. That's exactly that. You're not paying attention. Y'all not paying attention. You don't put Shorty at your girl number 1. Your cousin is number 2, and now all of a sudden another chick is number 2 because she wants some claim in there too. So now you got like y'all
But
sometimes
that
y'all move funny.
but that goes along with, I mean, and this is a whole nother topic. That goes along with women cheat emotionally.
It's not a whole topic. It's all connected.
Most
Men, men does not,
nowadays that can be
nowadays
questioned,
it's,
Jasmine.
it's different.
Nowadays,
It is a lot of it's a lot different. But you know, originally men were cheating with their parts.
Right.
Women were cheating with their minds.
Right,
It's
right.
a
That's the problem,
totally
though, Jazz. That's the problem, because I feel like that's worse. I feel
It
like
is.
it is.
well,
It is.
emotionally, that's the shit they call. That's the reason why it's prisons full of husbands who killed their wives.
but check this
Right,
out.
but
My
you
mother had
gotta
told me.
that
My mother had told me something crazy. Like she was like, "Yo, check this out." She was like, "When dudes cheat, it's normally just because we just want it. It's as simple as that.
it's
When
a,
women
not just
cheat,
the emotion.
when women cheat, there's something. It means something's wrong in the relationship. Like there's
Right.
something she's not getting. So it's kind of fucked up. Like, damn, like you cheated on me. How could you do this? But then it kind of like you got to think like, yo, something wrong with me. Like, is something I'm doing? Like,
But see, Rob, we can't give them that out. We can't give them that out.
it's
You know
not.
what? No, because here's the problem, and I mean this with the most respect, Joe. But we got to stop assuming as men, just because we've been conditioned to believe that happy wife, happy life. All these women out here don't deserve the best treatment. All
That's
these
true.
women out here don't deserve to be treated like queens. If I'm working 2 and 3 jobs and you not taking care of the house not clean when I come home dead tired, dinner's not ready, like you've been home all day, but you on the phone with this dude and that dude, and you feel like because I'm working so much, I'm not giving you enough attention. That's not okay. That's not something being wrong with me. That's you not understanding that we both have roles. And I'm not saying gender roles. I mean the roles within that family unit, the roles within that relationship. If it's you out working 2 jobs and I'm home, I should be cooking and cleaning. If it's vice versa, if you don't assume the role that you should be assuming in your specific relationship, and you feel like you're not getting something, not because that person is purposely withholding it, but because they're focusing on things for the overall betterment of the relationship, you can't hold that against the person, especially if you don't have a conversation with them about it. But there are a lot of females out here, and we discussed this before too, who will not have that conversation with you, who will hold that in, and that resentment will build up. And then the second this dude from down the street starts talking that shit, now your dumbass forget that we got kids. Your dumbass forget that we married. Your dumbass forget that we living together. And all of a sudden, because you getting that attention for 2 minutes, you forget the fact that this nigga live right around the corner. See, men might not know this shit right away, but I feel like when men cheat, they're not risking their family. We ain't about to leave our wives. We're not about to destroy our family. When women
cheating is risking your family though.
No. I feel you on that level. What I'm saying is like y'all had said, when women cheat, it's with the mailman, it's with this person, it's with that. It's like a cascading thing. You know how many dudes are within like a 2-mile radius of the dude that their wife or girlfriend is cheating on them with?
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's shit to where, oh, this nigga down the street. Now you about to have me catch a case.
Crazy.
You see
Crazy.
Wait, but see,
or take it a
Crazy
step further.
situation.
Now you posting pictures of my kids online, got this nigga commenting on pictures of my kids. You taking that shit to a whole nother level.
Wait, but hold on, just to say a little bit, touch on what you said, right? So you say, you know, you out working and your woman home all day and oh, this not done, that's not done. Granted. So what if it is done? And all she wants from you is a day with a flower, or you come home and you call her and say, babe, don't cook tonight. Let's go out. See, that's where it gets tricky, because a woman could be doing all that, or a man, excuse me, or a man could be doing all those things, and we're not showing appreciation to that person.
You're right. You're right. But
now it gets like, okay,
you're right. Because
when do we stop and show
this is
appreciation?
why I say men shouldn't automatically be expected to do those things.
Right.
Those things that you just said, those are signs of my appreciation for you for holding it down, right? Those are outward expressions of my appreciation for what you're doing. I'm specifically speaking about my experiences, and those things were not being done.
Right,
and so when I come home and you say, I just want your time, well, no, because now I'm upset that I've been working my ass off all day for our family, and clearly you haven't been. So now you're right. I don't want to give you my time because I feel like you didn't earn it. You're not contributing right now. But there are women out here who will forget what they didn't contribute, but be scorned because of what you didn't contribute in return. And that's not right. We need to be equal, or I'm going to have no choice but to withhold shit that you tell me you want, because it's a two-way street. You know what I'm saying?
True.
I mean, that's just my thoughts on it. I don't know.
I don't think that, first of all, I don't think anybody should ever have to ask for anything in a relationship. Something as simple as if a man or a woman, anybody, acknowledges my nail is broken and we together and you say, yo, babe, I noticed your nail broke. Let's go get that fixed. I love you. I love you. I can't believe you looked at something that small.
Wait.
But you know how many of us was told to go get something by our mothers and we don't see it, and then she got to come look for it, and it was right in front of us, and she tells us, oh, if it was a snake, it would have bit you. Like, I mean, it's certain things, like, we would have to be knowledgeable on that already. Or sometimes, we can have so much going on at work that work just is wrong, but we could just be completely oblivious to what's going on with you. And so maybe we could be ignoring you. Maybe it's been a while since we've been out on a date, and you just want a night where it's just us and we're romantic. Leave the kids with the grandmas and all that. Like, sometimes just the communication, because sometimes it may be like, you know what, I should have picked up on that, but I'm glad you said something so I can rectify it. Mm-hmm. You got to give someone the chance. I mean, yeah, everyone wants it to be natural, and in a perfect world, yeah, but like no one's perfect, and it's kind of like if you can like think about being in a relationship, it's just like you're still learning so much about each other and you're building together.
Right.
So knowing that about each other, like going through certain things, he'll start to, hopefully he or she will start to pick up on certain things, and it'll become more of routine with him or her later on. Rather than just, oh, I just got to keep saying stuff. Like, no, like, if he cares, you shouldn't have to keep saying stuff.
But see, I got a foundational problem with that too. Not a personal problem, but a foundational problem. We should not be expected to notice every little thing, and if we don't, it doesn't mean that we don't care about y'all. It doesn't mean we don't love y'all. It does not mean that. I feel like that's where the breakdown in communication starts. If you assume, or if your idea is that you shouldn't have to tell me something's wrong, there are certain things we should be in tune with. Not men versus women, but people in general in relationships. We should be in tune with our partners, yes. But just as a general practice in communication and keeping that healthy and keeping those lines open, tell me before I have to notice. Because I think a lot of women, because we don't notice, it's assumed, oh, he don't care, he don't notice shit. Tell us, and then see how much we do care. Communicate. Facts. Give us the opportunity to actually be like, okay, let me do what I can do to fix that, or what do you want me to do to fix that? Because a lot of times we be as confused as a fucking deer in the headlights. We be like, what the fuck you mean? You didn't tell me. Oh, you didn't notice. That creates problems. You don't think so, Jazz? You heard me.
Listen, I feel a little different about it, and it's only because,
She didn't drop, did she?
She didn't call drop, but
no, it didn't.
Okay,
sorry.
all right.
Okay, I feel a little different about it because I'm that person, and maybe it's because I'm a female, even though I'm more on an aggressive side when it comes to women.
Right.
I'm that female that noticed those things. I'm that person in a relationship that say, oh, I don't want to see you walking around like that. Here go money to get your nails done. Or I'm that person. But the problem that I'm having with that is just because I'm that person don't mean it has to be a habit. Right. You get what I'm saying? Like, and yes, I will notice your nails, and I will notice that you need your hair done, and I will notice that you may want to go out and have dinner. I may notice these things, but sometimes certain people make it a habit, and it comes off to be almost being taken advantage of in a sense. And maybe everybody's not like that, but that's what I've gotten out of it. Me being that person, it becomes a habit. So when you don't do it that one time, it's a problem because I you know what I'm saying. So it's like, all right, well, I may have noticed it last time, but I might have had a couple of extra dollars for me to notice it. If you understand what I'm saying, like
right.
when you got a little bit more money, you notice a little bit more things. Like that's true. Like so, if I do notice it the next time, I may not say.
We lost you.
All right, should be back. See, what she has a good point, and I mean, it's not. I know it's not just monetary, but Rob had mentioned that when women cheat, it's because, and I feel like Rob, I feel like we've been conditioned and programmed to think this, and I don't think it's true. More, I think it's not true more than it is. It's not when they might be missing something in a relationship, but I don't think that necessarily translates into something that we're not giving them, because people are damaged and people got their own baggage and their own issues. And just because, and this ties in directly with the whole forgiveness thing, there being statute of limitations, just because what I'm giving you doesn't look the way that you want it to look doesn't mean I'm not giving it to you. And so if you're not communicating to me when it's happening, so I could point out to you, well, I didn't do this, but I did that because my thought was this. If we're not doing that and not having those discussions, you're just gonna assume that you're lacking something from me in the relationship that I might be putting 110% of the giving you. It just don't look the way you thought it was gonna look or are used to it looking. And that's a big problem. You feel me?
You feel me?
Come on, man.
I didn't hear what you said, but
Come on. Some bell, bro. Shoot me some bell.
Yeah.
Rob, you feel him?
No, I dig. But I agree.
What is it that you said?
So because Rob had mentioned earlier that a lot of women cheat because they're missing.
Your volume is really low.
My volume?
Yeah, you might need to get a little closer to the speaker.
All right. Rob had said that he has said that a lot of women cheat because there's something that they're not getting in the relationship. What I said to him was, that's not always an indication of that person not bringing that thing to the relationship. They just might not be tuned into it. Because the reason why I disagreed with Jasmine earlier when she said she doesn't feel like she should have to tell somebody what to do or what to look for or what to notice. When two people come together with two different personalities, two different backgrounds, two different levels of baggage and stressors and whatever else, I might not know what it is you're looking for and how you're looking for it, and vice versa. And so I'm not saying that a person's oblivious, but I'm saying that people want things tailored to them. And if I want something tailored, I'm responsible for letting you know that. If I don't let you know that, and you give me something out of the goodness of your heart, contributing to the relationship, not something that's tangible or monetary, I mean just the normal things in a relationship that support, but it don't look like how I wanted it to look. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're being loyal and faithful, but I'm not noticing it because I'm looking for you to do it in other ways. If we don't have those discussions, I can't hold that against you and say, yo, I don't really have somebody who's really there for me. Because you might be. You just doing it in a different way. So if I don't bring that up, we don't have that discussion, I'm not given the chance to have an open mind to see what it is you're contributing, and vice versa. And I don't think people do that enough.
Well, I'm not saying that a person should expect it all the time, but when Rob made a really good point, you're learning about that person throughout the entire relationship. You're gonna probably learn something new about them every like 2 or 3 months, and you're gonna study them. Even if I saw my mate go like this, I would think their shoulder hurt. So I'm gonna suggest I give you a shoulder rub. Or if I know that my mate likes barbecue chicken all the time, maybe I'll just have a nice night where I make their favorite barbecue something or barbecue chicken. But it's just like just little things. Not saying that it's expected all the time for me to guess what you want, but I'm learning you, right? I know I should know a little bit about you to know that your favorite color is red, so I'm gonna buy something that's red, or paint my nails red, or maybe dye my hair red. You're gonna do something.
I feel you, but it usually don't present itself that way, right? So you mentioned if you see a person wince, you might be like, oh, they're in pain, so I'm going to ask about it. What if I wince and you walk into the room right after I did that, and now my shoulder hurts, so now I'm in a bad mood? Instead of assuming, because this is what some women do, a lot of them, instead of assuming I'm in a bad mood and I'm being shitty toward you, have the discussion.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But I feel like instantly right there, some people get closed off. And either I'm not telling you what's wrong or you're not asking what's wrong. Right. And what I'm saying is if the overall point of the relationship, past all the physical outward expressions, if we're in this thing to grow together and be stronger together, if I'm not, whether because I don't know how, I'm not good at it, or I just don't know how to properly communicate, if I'm not coming to the table saying this is what's wrong, then you come to the table and ask if something's wrong. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, there are normal things that just transpire throughout normal conversation that these things will come up if people will only do it. So the whole reason for why I was talking about the whole thing with forgiveness is because forgiveness is not just like Rob said, cheating is a symptom of something else. Forgiveness is not
could be
the all be all, because that's also a symptom, and it's predicated on other things that fell apart already in the relationship. Breakdown of all those other things, that's what makes it more or less likely for a person to forgive you. And if you notice, if you think back, if you've been in more than one relationship where someone has cheated on you, I think people would honestly be able to say it may have been more or less easy to forgive one person versus the other. Because depending on what other things were going on in that relationship when that happened. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, I don't know. That's just how I feel about that.
Relationship.
Did she drop? Yeah, she did.
I just don't like when somebody does try to have a conversation about something that's, on their mind, and then they come back with, instead of just talking about what the person had the issue with, they bring up an issue that they've been sitting on for mad long. Like, can we just deal with? I don't have a problem dealing with anyone's issue with me. It's like, but if I brought up my issue first, can we at least just talk about that? Then I will more than likely. But that's a case by case thing as far as the person you're dealing with, because I mean, it all comes down to if the person cares or not. Because if you're dealing with an asshole, like, that's just what it is. You're not going to really expect much.
Are most people, and it's not a trick question either, are most people assholes in their relationships? Come on, Jazz. Come on.
I mean, me as a Leo, yeah, it comes kind of natural, but I'm a like fun. It's a joke. We're laughing. I'm not like a dick asshole.
What's up, Jazz?
Kev, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Is the volume low on your side? Rob, am I coming in low to you?
Yeah, you're okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jasmine sounds louder than you, but you don't sound all that low to me.
Now, what were you saying?
Rob had mentioned. Rob, what did you mention?
No, you can't ask me that, man. This one.
What I was asking you was, and I was bouncing off something that Rob had said, but I was basically asking you, are most people assholes in their relationships? And I don't mean that in like you're a dickhead kind of way. I just mean based on people's past dealings, right? Do most people already come into their relationship with certain guards up that would prevent that relationship from even starting off the right way?
Absolutely. That, and it's funny that you say that, because at this moment, that's where I am. I've always been that person that I do every. I'm not gonna say I'm perfect, but I do whatever I can to make the relationship as easy as possible. I play the part that I'm supposed to play, and the women that I've attracted have taken advantage of that. So because of those things, because of those past situations, I don't plan on going into a new relationship that same way. You get what I'm saying? I just
Right.
recently had a woman tell me that I'm too nice,
Mm.
um, I'm too available,
Mm.
um, and I shouldn't let people walk all over me. Now, this same woman has done the same things that the past women did. So it's like people, and that goes back to me saying everybody wants that good guy until they get that good guy. And I feel like a lot of the reason why women are the way they are now is because of being damaged from past relationships. Women right now, whoa, like they're totally opposite from what they were when we were in high school. Or like you get what
That,
I'm saying? Women
that's a fact.
now are doing things totally different. These women are basically doing what they want to do. Women used to submit to the aggressor in their relationship.
Right.
Women don't do that now. Women are different now. So of course I'm gonna handle situations very different. I'm not gonna continue to do the same things that I've been doing. And that's only because I've been that person that has tried to make the relationship as easy as possible for the person and basically just got shitted on. So yes, my next relationship I go in, it's gonna be a lot different, and it may seem as though I'm being an asshole, but that's only because of what I've been through. Now, should I do that? Is that right? No, I don't believe that is right. I believe that I should stay and commit to who I am. But it's very hard to be who you are when you have so many people nowadays doing the same damn thing.
You just gotta be careful. You gotta
Exactly.
like I already know what that's all about. You just gotta. It's kind of just situations. Like it's hard not being the person that you want to be because it actually makes you happy being the person that you can be to somebody because you know how good you are. But in this world nowadays, yo, motherfucker, they don't give a fuck. Like
They don't give a fuck
like
about
you gotta really just cut that shit off. And like honestly, the game is everybody out for self. Not everybody wants what you want, but everybody's out for self. So
exactly.
at the end of the day, like you know what I mean? Motherfuckers talk about secure the bag, secure your feelings. Like not saying don't put yourself out there to be available, but like
Yo, that's gonna be my next tattoo. That's a fact. Because here's the thing too. Everything I say when we have these types of discussions is for a reason. So Jazz, you made a good point. Rob made a good point. People already come in their relationships feeling that way. If their last relationship taught them that being the way that they typically would be is not beneficial to them. So what my question is, if people already come into the relationship guarded with their feelings up, and they want the new person that they're with to prove to them that it's worth them breaking that wall down, let's go all the way back. How is that any different? Because it already happens, whether we're conscious of it or not, whether we talk about it or not, which is the one thing that we should do more of, is talk about what's going to happen in the earlier stages of that relationship because of what that baggage is. But if that's already happening, because it's human nature, self-preservation over everything. This last person I was with didn't appreciate shit, told me I was too nice. So this next person, fuck out of here. They're going to have to show me it's worth it for me to be the nice guy, right? So if that's already how we enter our relationships, how is that so different from fast forward a year, 2 years, 18 months, whatever, and you do something that's detrimental to me that shows me that I shouldn't be rocking with you like that? How come you're not obligated to prove to me again that it's okay for me to forgive you? It's a direct correlation.
I personally, I've forgave a lot in relationships, and now I'm just not so open to forgiving. I feel like I'm 30 years old. I will be 31 in a couple of weeks, and at this point, the women that I date are not young women. You should know I'm bright as hell. You should know.
Yeah.
You should know
Yeah, you look a little bit albino.
right
Okay.
from what. Yo, this is ridiculous.
I feel
You
you.
should know right from wrong in a relationship at this point.
And that's why
I'm
I don't
still
pacify
fucking bro.
adults. I
You
agree.
should, huh?
I agree with that 100%, and that's why I don't pacify adults. The problem is most adults, they want to be pacified. They don't want to be held accountable for what they do wrong. And I don't know where that
Right.
came from. Either people aren't being raised right or weren't raised right back then, but I have a
I,
hard time doing it. I have a
I
hard
believe that a lot of the reason of why people are the way they are is just because they're scared. Like I'm actually communicating with someone right now in a sense, and in the beginning, I was like, being a person that I am, I'm very consistent. I will text you every morning and tell you good morning. I will ask you how your day is going. I'm very, very consistent. This person was kind of like being real nonchalant with me until she realized at some point I'm gonna fall back. I'm not gonna keep playing myself. That's one
fact.
thing I'm not gonna do.
That's a fact.
And then when she realized, you know what, I think I'm fucking up something good, she actually turned around and apologized to me because she knew she was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is at this point,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you played me out. You
I'm
feel me?
glad you.
Like,
I'm glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that because that happens more often than it don't. But the issue is, the problem is, once the person feels like, and this is the same thing with forgiveness, once the person that finally acknowledges what they did and they come to you like, oh shit, my bad, you already done. But are you wrong for being done at that point? Like, are you wrong for being like, nah?
I don't think so.
I
I
don't think so.
personally do not think
I
so.
don't believe so either. But here's the issue. That's the shit more often than not that leads to the shit that needs to be forgiven for. That's the number one cause outside of no. If they say cheating and financial reasons are the biggest reasons for why relationships don't work, right? Well, I think what you just said, I think that type of shit is the number one cause for cheating. Because I'm not just gonna not pay you no fucking mind. If you go back to the beginning of that relationship with me, you will see that I did everything and more that I could possibly do to show you. Now, my fault, you chose not to see it until 8 months later. Now, fuck you. I'm gonna need you to show me that it's worth me showing you that again. But once you get to that point with people, now they feel like, nah, that's fucked up, or nah, I'm not doing that, or nah, that's wrong. And now they want to feel like they're missing shit or not being given shit in a relationship. That's where a lot of my relationships have gone left. Because I give, just like you, I'm a Libra. I give too much in the beginning. I give too much. And if a person don't realize that at a certain point, I'm a fallback.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, why am I gonna keep playing myself? Like, and can I forgive you? It's too early in a relationship for me to say, you know what? All right, let's try again. I forgive you. I feel like you came into this relationship basically judging me on what you went through in the past. You
Right.
basically came in this relationship basically making me suffer from what you went through in the past. You cannot do that. Even though I'm saying that I'm going into relationships differently now, but it's I think it's a difference between me not being taken advantage of and me interested in somebody. Like I feel like, me going into a situation, I'm still gonna be who I am. That's never gonna change. I'm still gonna be who I am, but I'm gonna do it with a clearer mind. I'm not gonna do it with a mindset of, okay, this is my woman. I'm gonna do this, that, and the other. No, I'm gonna do it with a mindset of, I do this because this is who I am. That's the mindset that I changed in my head. That's the way I changed my I do things because I want to do it, not because I'm doing it because I'm with you or because I think you're beautiful or because I think you're this and that. It has nothing to do with the other person at this time. Before it was like that. It was like, you know what? I'm gonna make my girlfriend want to do this and want to be proud to be with me and all this other. No, I do things because I want to do it. You can ask my best friend right now, Jasmine. If she asks me, she don't even gotta ask me for anything. I just do it because that's my best friend. I don't
Right.
like to see people, and you get what I'm saying. So that's the difference on how I'm going into relationships and just dealing with people. Period. Because me personally, I feel like we talk about relationships, but a relationship is not just sexual. A
Nope.
relationship, a
Right.
friendship, you get what I'm saying. Family.
Right.
That's all relationships. And I
Right.
deal with most of my relationships with people. Period. I deal with them all the same way.
Right. It's a fact.
And that goes back to what I said before when we talked about, a person can friend zone you quick because you're ugly or you're lame or you're corny. But how is it okay for me to be your friend, but I cannot be with you? I'm not good enough to be with you because to me, a friendship, a relationship with a family member, or just a regular relationship is all the same thing. They're based off the same thing.
Right. That's a fact.
If you handle all those situations the same way, the only difference is we're intimate.
Right.
That's it. If people build relationships off a real, true friendship, I don't think it would be hard to deal with.
Let me ask you a question. At this point, we're just having relationship talk, right? At this point, what are because I believe there are three foundational pieces to any relationship. Because I agree, it don't matter if that relationship is romantically charged, if it's paternal, maternal, if it's platonic, whatever the relationship is, I feel like they're all built off of three foundational things. In your opinion, what are the foundational pieces and how many are there to a relationship? And I mean foundational pieces, not the ancillary shit. The most basic foundational pieces that the other shit is built off of.
That the other should what?
That the other shit is built off of.
Um, I mean, obviously, communication is one of them.
Right.
Every relationship needs communication.
Right.
Um, and one thing that goes along with communication is understanding. That's something people don't realize. Even because we communicating is easy. I can tell you how I feel real quick. But if the person don't have a sense of understanding when it comes to that, it's never going to get anywhere.
I'm glad you said
So
that. I'm so glad you said that. This is why I fuck with you, and this is why for the past 18 years you've been that nigga. So look, I got three foundational pieces, right? It used to be that I had, along with most people who generally accept that communication is the most important piece of a relationship. That's what most people would say. I used to believe the same thing. Now I think it's number two. You know what my number one foundational piece to any relationship is? It's the same as what you said, but I got a different word for it. Open-mindedness, which is the same as understanding. If you don't have understanding, open-mindedness,
That's being one thing.
communication don't mean shit. And after communication, there's one more foundational piece to a relationship, and that's loyalty. There's one thing I didn't say that most people think is important in relationships, but it's not, and it's the cause of so much fucked up shit. And do you know what that is?
Sex.
Huh?
I said sex.
She said sex.
Nah. That's an ancillary. Foundational piece. What didn't I say? I said
You didn't say trust.
open-mindedness, right? I said communication, and I said loyalty. What didn't I say?
Trust.
Exactly. You know why I didn't say that?
You heard me hit that buzzer, though, right?
What?
I said trust like 3 times. You heard me hit it.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah, he did. He said it. He said it.
You know
It's
why
an
I didn't say trust? And this is gonna blow some people's minds. I don't believe that you need trust to make a relationship work. You know why I don't?
No, Kev, we don't.
Because trust is an illusion. It's not real. It does not exist. The reason why the two things that you said and the three things that I said are foundational pieces in a relationship is because they are tried, tested, and verifiable. You know when there's a breakdown in communication. You know when a person doesn't have understanding. And you know when loyalty is not being projected. You know the only way to know that something's wrong with trust?
Say that one more time.
You know the only way to know that something's wrong with trust?
What?
When it's been broken. You can't prove the existence of trust. We give it to people, and even if you look up the definition of it, trust is based off of the belief that someone is reliable, that someone is not going to do something to be harmful towards you.
That's the same thing.
That's not a real thing.
Because you kind of like put your trust in the other person's loyalty.
Right.
So you think you're loyal until they do some disloyal shit.
And that's the only choice you have.
Loyalty is kind of like an illusion as well.
You can't prove that you can trust me. You can only prove if you can. But because so many people operate off the false premise that you have to have trust and don't even know what trust is, they operate off of that. And the second that someone, like Jasmine said, comes into a relationship and feels like just because they're protecting themselves or just because they may feel like they've been given something and they decide not to after a certain amount of time because it's not being reciprocated, that person might feel like, oh, well, you know, I can't trust this person or this person broke my trust. How? I don't understand it.
You say, how did a person break your trust?
What I'm saying is, most people operate off the premise that if they can't trust you, then there's something wrong with the relationship. What I'm saying is, if you can't prove that you can trust me any more than I can prove that I can trust you, how is that a vital piece to a relationship? It's not. This shit trips up everybody when I say it to them.
I
feel like once there is no loyalty, then there is no trust. So I guess loyalty would precede trust.
Why?
I feel like trust and loyalty is very touchy because
you can have
they're very different.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you could have somebody that's not loyal, but you trust them because you may be in a relationship with them. They may go and fuck someone else. Yeah, they broke your loyalty, but if they come and tell you, they still have your trust because you know that at least they'll keep it a buck with you.
I understand exactly.
And I feel like that's all someone is like, and rather than me finding out, if you come to me, is like
exactly
a person to accept that a lot easier. Yes,
right.
I completely understand what you're saying. I feel like with trust and loyalty, it's all in how the person perceives it. So it's like what I believe makes you loyal to me is only me. It's only because of what I want you to be for myself. It doesn't make a person just because you do something that may go against what I believe doesn't make you an untrustworthy person or a person that's not loyal. It's just you. The people need to understand that everybody's different. I may believe something's supposed to go a certain way, and you may believe something different and you may act accordingly, but just because it go against me don't mean that I can't trust you.
I believe you could do that with trust, but I don't believe you could do that with loyalty. Loyalty actually has a specific meaning that I think is universal, because all loyalty, and this is what comes down to Jazz, where I said people use words wrong. And that's why I think perception has to fill those gaps, because people use it. All loyalty means is that you have pledged your allegiance to something or someone. Doesn't matter what it is. Like, for example, I can be loyal to you. Doesn't necessarily mean I have to be faithful to you. I can be loyal to you. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to cheat on you. All it means at the end of the day, I'm coming home to you. I value our relationship above anything else, and that's what I'm loyal to. You can be loyal to a bunch of different shit at the same time. You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
But I feel like it's how people perceive it.
You said you could be loyal and what at the same time?
I said you could be loyal to a bunch of different shit at the same time. It doesn't make you less loyal to something else.
So then, are you loyal to the thing, or are you loyal to the person?
Well, what I'm saying is, so loyalty is defined as an allegiance to something or someone. So whether you're loyal to your religion, doesn't matter what church you go to, you're still loyal to your religion. You could be loyal to a person, and just because certain things may transpire between you and that person, and y'all might, for example, perfect example, sibling relationships. You know how much I don't fuck with my siblings? But that's family, that's blood. At the end of the day, they need me for something, I'm loyal to my siblings. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
that's how you view it.
What happened?
Would you say that with friends? Because that's family. That's different.
There are, but there are friends that are family too. Like, for example, I would consider y'all as family. I've known y'all for like 18 years. If Jasmine called me one day and was like, yo, this crazy shit just happened, I need your help, there's no question. That's loyalty.
Right. But if you heard Jasmine was talking shit behind your back, are you still loyal to that?
Or
are you
perfect
not loyal
example.
to Jasmine?
You and I have had our fallout over the years.
Right.
If
I was with G the other day.
if tomorrow, God forbid, my mother passes away, and I hit you up and be like, yo,
that hurt. You saw me just process that shit, right? Like,
I know 100% you would be at the funeral if I asked you to go. That's loyalty.
I'd be there.
There may have been a time where I might have said, yo, I don't trust Rob because I hear you talking mad shit. But I'm still loyal because of the history we have. I've already decided that that's going to be what it is for whatever happens. You see what I'm saying? Everybody don't get loyalty. Everybody don't get that often. And that's something that stands the test of time no matter what. You feel me?
I dig. I mean, people deal with things differently as far as statute limitations on, I feel some type of way, this and the third. Because it's crazy, like, how it'll be loyal, because, like, you can have somebody that will talk behind your back. But let's say you didn't know they was talking shit behind your back, and some shit was popping off, and you give them a call, and they there.
Say that one more time.
You said what?
Say that one more time.
I said, it's crazy how loyalty can be in some shit like someone you could be cool with, you can consider them family. They'll talk shit behind your back, right? But let's say you're in some shit and you call that same person that talks shit, but that person has your back up. It's like shit is funny like that as well.
I feel like when it comes to certain things,
because
like
people are
someone is talking behind your back, or I feel like people put too much meaning to those things. Because listen, Jasmine's my best friend. Can't nobody come to me and tell me nothing about that woman without me checking you.
That's right.
But
that's
I may go to
who's that, Casper? Someone without a face started talking.
Huh?
Someone without a face just started talking. That's crazy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You know what? Just not to cut you off, Jasmine, but I am somebody's mother.
Oh no! I'm just joking.
I gotta feed. I gotta get life together for tomorrow. So I hear y'all then.
So I mean, when it comes to loyalty, it's like okay, all right. Let me kind of change it a little bit. Okay, so let me see. It may be somebody I'm in a relationship with. So me and Jasmine just had this similar conversation last night. Does it make me less loyal to Jasmine if I pillow talk with my mate about her?
No.
Okay, so but what makes me less loyal is if I go to someone else outside of our friendship, our relationship, and talk about her. Not necessarily talk about her, see, because people, if I say her name, match it with something else, a
Right.
person will automatically say I'm talking about her. But
Right.
that don't necessarily have to be the case.
Right.
People put too much meaning to negative things. That's the problem when it comes
That's
to
a fact.
loyalty and trust. So now at this point, I no longer trust you. I no longer think you're loyal because this person came to me and said that you were talking about me. When in reality is I might have just been speaking on something that may have been able to help you, or I may have been getting advice, or I may have been giving somebody else advice and use you as an example. It could be
Fact.
anything. Now, if I'm going to somebody like, oh yeah, that bitch dirty, da, 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 that's something totally different. But people take things and they make it work for them all the time. So I don't think that something. I can't nobody come to me and tell me that Jasmine was talking about me.
That's what I heard.
She may have been.
Right.
She may have been. But
Right.
can't nobody do that because at the end of the day, me and Jasmine know each other well enough for me to say she might have been talking to somebody about my situation, but I know damn well she wasn't talking about me.
But see, that's a fact. And even if she was and you wasn't sure, like you said, you would still check that person. Like you remember over the years, right? Every now and then you would be like, yo, what's going on with Rob? What's going on with your cousin Rob? And I would be like, oh, we're not really close no more because of XYZ or whatever I heard. But at the end of the day, would I not always be like, but that's family. It's always going to be family.
That's a fact.
Because at the end of the day, like you said, if there's true loyalty there, it don't matter what people are saying. It don't matter what individual hangups you might have with that person intermittently. Even if you're speaking on certain situations of things that happened and how you felt about it, it don't make you less loyal to that person. But like you said, I feel like people automatically go, damn, talking about me? Fucking
Right.
disloyal ass, fuck ass nigga. Like, that's how people treat shit.
And it's funny because, I'm currently going through something with another one of my best friends. I have two best friends. Jasmine's one, another one. I have another one. And an incident happened maybe about 2 months ago where I almost had to I don't want to say lie to her, but that's exactly what happened. I had to lie to her to kind of satisfy someone else, but it was a serious situation and it wasn't nothing that I took lightly. It had to do with domestic violence at the end of the day. So
Uh-huh.
when she asked me a question about this particular person, I lied to her about it. She ended up finding out the truth, which I would have told her the truth, but the problem was she contacted me on a social media. She contacted me on Snapchat when she asked me the initial question, and basically I had to lie to her about it. When she found out about it, she instantly got an attitude because she felt like, I never had to I never believed that you would lie to me. We never had those type of incidents or anything like that. So at that point, she completely stopped talking to me. We no longer speak. I've texted her multiple times. I miss you. I'm very loyal to her. But at that moment, it was a situation where I was kind of stuck in between the two. If you understand what I'm saying. Like I
Right.
said, when I got face to face with her in person, I would explain to her the whole situation. Once she found out the truth, I end up explaining to her the whole situation. It just was like she could not get past the fact that I had to lie. And it wasn't a big lie. It was something really, really small, something really, really stupid. But she takes it as I can't trust you. Knowing me for years and years, she probably have known me as long as y'all know me.
Right.
She still feel like she can't trust me.
Even though there was no pattern of you doing it prior.
Even though it was no pattern of me, and she know that I'm very loyal to it. She know that anything that she ever needed, I wanted, or anytime she ever needed me to be there, I was always there. Anytime she needed help, when she was down, I was there. When she was up, I was there. When I'm down, she there. We have been completely best friends from the. I mean, we kind of just kind of started using the best friend word because I don't use I don't use that title lightly, but we have been that close from the time she met me to now. And now it's like it's almost like, well, I don't trust you, so fuck you. And it's getting to me because I know that I didn't do it intentionally. You get what I'm saying? I was really stuck in the situation. But she doesn't look at it like that. She looks at it like, well, you know what? Now I can't trust you because you lied to me. Now in the back of my head, I gotta figure out what else you lied to me about.
So now people got to figure out: do you really want? Because there are people out here who believe that trust is a foundational relationship piece. So now people got to figure out: do you really want to hold something as a foundational support that is that volatile? If it's really just as simple as someone's perception being off and saying, "Oh, I can't trust you," for something that is not even that serious,
I
and
feel
that's what
like,
people do.
yeah, I feel like, and people lose a lot of good people in their lives doing those
Fact.
things. You know, I just feel like, certain things you should just let go.
Sometimes I guess what it comes down to is like there's still certain good qualities about people, and sometimes it's still not worth throwing a whole person away, but still realizing that you can't fuck with somebody to a certain degree. For instance, I got a friend who's moving a little bit. Like he was like this nigga live right across from me. Yeah, I almost said he's damn near my best friend. Whenever I need something, I check it. I told him when we go to people's cribs, like I'll bring a little something, he'll bring a little something with him. It's my whip. I say something happens, it's on me. I don't even say nothing else. It's on me. But if I go over there, I'm not bringing. He bringing something. I'm not gonna jump. Like I'm not taking it. He feels like, all right, well I'm just bringing it. Well, damn. So he was only comfortable, and I was going to take a little bit, so it's just okay. I feel like I just people on a certain level, but for the most part, still a good guy. So,
I see what you're
it's
saying.
just
So it's
the shit, I
yeah.
guess.
So it's like, do you let that one situation?
I mean, there's been a couple other situations about different shit, but I mean, like, still, it's I guess even still, like brothers have these fights. So, like I said, it really depends on the type of relationship it was, with a good bit of aptitude, like the history behind it, the good times, the bad times, like shit like that. Like you really just gotta weigh it all out. I am somebody that believes you don't need everybody, including family. That's where I'm at. So it's me with people. It's whatever what you make. Like keep it buck with you, keep it buck with me. Like nothing. But I've learned through the years, especially dealing with females, like it's just people that weren't meant to be in your life. But there's some people worth fighting for because life is short.
But the problem is that I have is most people aren't willing. See, I believe that you have to be willing to fight for everyone to a certain extent in order to be able to truly weed out the people who don't belong. Because I think that sometimes we write people off as not being meant for us, whether it be a friendship or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you really haven't fought for that person, and if you really haven't exhausted all possibilities,
Right.
sometimes you may write somebody off who you should have kept around. And that's not a one person issue. That's up to the two people in that situation together. But I feel like that causes a lot of situations to turn bad that didn't necessarily have to turn bad.
Facts.
So how do we reconcile that? How do we fix that? Like how do we repair natural instinct that we have to just want to write people off at the first sign that something's wrong.
You don't fix that.
Why?
You don't fix it.
Some people really go throughout their lives, they just happy, like they can do that.
I think that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get on screen, guys. Sorry. Sorry. I don't think you fix that, because if they are meant to be in your life, they will be in your life, and sometimes you outgrow relationships.
That's
so
also true.
If I outgrow a relationship, if I outgrow Jasmine, my time with her is done, and it's no bad.
Girl, hold up.
Girl, she ain't like that.
I'm not saying.
You not. Girl, you would never outgrow this. You would never.
I'm just saying.
Let me flip my hair.
Hold on, because I got my hair wrap on and everything. Sorry. I'm just saying, it's not. I don't think it'll happen with you. But if I outgrow a person,
no, you know it's not going to happen with me.
All right. I feel like sometimes with people, you outgrow them, and you don't need to fix that, because potentially they're doing great in their life without you, and you're doing great in your life. And y'all may speak occasionally. You're never gonna just completely outgrow them, but you're definitely gonna separate yourself from them. You're not gonna show up to every event, every birthday, every Christmas, every Thanksgiving. It's just gonna be simply, cool, and you should be okay with that. You don't have to fix everything, especially with friendships. Like relationships, yes. Friendships, I don't believe I have to fix every friendship. I believe that God has allowed me to meet the people that I'm gonna grow old with.
Damn, she regret.
But see, I only halfway agree with that, and I'm gonna tell you why. I believe that as a way to rationalize our humanistic shortcomings, we apply philosophies to them after the fact as a way to resolve them within ourselves. Like, people will say, if something doesn't work out for some reason, people will say, oh, it wasn't meant to be. If something does work out, people will say, oh, it must have been meant to be. I think you can apply that to some things, but I think when it comes to people, the fact that we're all interconnected and we should be learning how to become better connected at all costs, I don't believe there is such a thing that we outgrow each other. What I believe happens is that's a symptom of something. I believe that people, for whatever has transpired with that other person, somebody will stop putting in that effort. And then if that continues, it's a chain reaction. So naturally over time, you'll do less, that person will do less, you'll do less, that person will do less, and then you lose contact. Yes, that does happen. I don't think it has to. And I don't think that that's an indication that that person was not meant to be in your life necessarily. I just think that that's a way that we reconcile that after the fact. Because it's painful to have to face the fact that you lost a person that you may not have had to lose. When if there were certain tools there, and I think these are the types of discussions we need to have to figure out how to better relate, how to better understand each other, how to better come to the table with that communication so that we don't lose touch. We are all connected. We will always be connected. And the problem is, it's not about those friends that we lost. If you separate friendship from relationships, you're not realizing that every friendship you have will determine how successful you're going to be in your relationships. Because we hold our friendships as being more important than our relationships. That's just what it is. Because like, for example, Jasmine, I've known for 18 years. I've known her through about 4 relationships I've been in my life. She's been there through every one of them. And even though my current one, my marriage, which has been 11 years next month, if that should end next month, Jasmine's still going to be there. So if I don't learn how to continue to nurture even those friendships, it's going to affect my relationship, because that's the backbone. I know that if tomorrow my family unit falls apart, I'm still going to do what I got to do for my kids. But if I don't know that I have that backbone, that foundation to go back to, that original support system, because sometimes friends are more family than family. We got to admit that.
That's a
If
fact.
we don't learn how to even hold those things being more sacred, it's going to affect every other aspect of our lives, even when we don't realize it. Because there are people who I was very close with over the years who I no longer speak to. Not because I don't want to speak to them, but because they may consider that they have outgrown me. You can't outgrow me. I'm too giving and open and intellectual as a person. I always have more to offer. So if a person feels they outgrew me, they're selling themselves short. So what I'm saying is if I know that, then I have to assume that there are people that I allowed myself to outgrow that I'm coming up short too. Because if you're progressing at a faster rate than someone else, then you become responsible for paying your part and contributing back to those people. That's just how I look at life. And I feel like if we all get back to that place, the world would be a better place. I feel like we hold too many relationships, friendships, whatever, as being too disposable. And once you start looking at shit as being disposable, you're not going to want to put any effort to repair those things when they go wrong.
But I think that's the best part of life because things are disposable. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. And that goes with friendships. Nothing. I do not want every single friend or not every single person, but all right, so when I was in high school, I hung out with a group of girls and we had a name and we hung out with each other all the time.
Girl, you
I'm
was in a
best friends.
gang.
Huh?
Girl, you was in a gang.
Let me find out you had
Okay,
that.
whatever.
Let me find out
I
you
don't
had
wanna-
that
anyway.
dead president's bandana.
So listen,
Robot.
I was friends with a group of women. Girls, out of all them girls, one of them is my best friend. The rest of them, Instagram friends. Some of them I don't talk to anymore, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If I had a lot of those friends right now, and I've been married, and I've been in relationships, I wouldn't be in a relationship I'm in. I had to change. I had to outgrow them. I had to step away from the childish things, the petty things, and I'm cool. I like a picture, but I don't gotta be friends with them, and I'm okay with that. Another thing, I would never in my life choose a friendship over a strong relationship. Never. I would never do that. I wasn't raised that way. I'm not saying for anybody who does they're wrong, but I wasn't raised that way. If I'm in a relationship and I know I'm gonna potentially take it somewhere, and I get married, my partner is first. Um, my friendship is third because I have children. So it does not work that way for me. I mean, for everybody's different, but for me, it does not work that way.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I'm not looking at it as a first, second, third kind of thing. I guess what I'm really trying to say is everything's interconnected, right? If I'm not the best friend I could possibly be, and if I don't, because the friendships come before the kids, before the family, before the husband and wife, before all that stuff. That's what we learn first as little kids, right? How to be friends with one another. What I'm saying is by learning how to best nurture those friendships, and I don't necessarily mean the person, I mean the the construct of friendship, the philosophy of it. Because you're not going to necessarily be in touch with everybody that you started your life out with. But when those things go wrong, what I'm saying is when people are not able to reconcile those things have no choice but to carry over into other aspects of their lives. It has no choice because it's such an integral part of everything. Like I have a certain part of me that I can contribute to my friends. I have a certain part of me I can contribute to my kids. and I have a certain part of me I can contribute to my spouse or whoever else. There's no reason why those things can't happen at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason why those things can't go on all in the same space. I think the more we start separating this from that and that from this, that's when I think we start to run into some trouble with somebody.
And that's a lot of the problem with people in relationships. People don't know how to juggle between
Exactly.
multiple relationships. Not, I'm not talking about romantic. I'm, your romantic relationship, your friendship, your family. People don't know how, and I tend to be like that too. I get in a relationship and I kind of shut myself out from the rest of the world. Kevin know this. It's times where we will stop talking for a year, and then it's
and I'm
all because I
always
get
there when you come back around.
Exactly,
And that's my point.
it's because I shut myself out from the world when it comes to friendships. Because I also believe the same thing that Jasmine believed. I would never choose a friendship over my relationship. But the problem is, I need to learn how to balance my friendship with my relationship.
That's
Because at the end of the day, that's a healthy, balanced life.
Very healthy.
You have to
It's
have
very healthy.
something separate from your relationship.
You
It
have
cannot be
to.
all about
You
your
have
relationship.
to. Because that's when relationships run into problems. If you are looking to your partner, your life partner, to be everything for you, first of all, you're expecting them to do something they just cannot do as a human being. That's first of all. Second of all, when certain things go wrong, you need the bad friends to show you that you might be looking more into a situation, and you need the good friends to keep you grounded, because both have played a part in me being at 34. I'll be 35 in a couple of weeks, lasting 11 years in my marriage in a generation when that's unheard of. And if it wasn't for the good friends, the bad friends, the different interactions, and me continuing to nurture those relationships, even when, like Jasmine said, she has fell back because of her, whatever was going on in her life. If I didn't continue to understand that and continue to be there, we wouldn't be talking right now. And why it's important is because you don't know when there's going to come a day where essentially your life might depend in some way, shape, or form on the fact that you kept that person around. I'm not saying keep people who don't want to be kept. I'm saying because I know I'm a good friend, because I know Jasmine's a good friend, and because she knows I'm a good friend, no matter what she needs to go off and do, I'm still here. My number don't change. I can still be reached. I'm still going to be open to it. I'm not going to hold no grudges against her for that. But I had to learn that, though. I had to learn that through all the friendships I lost to see how important that is. Because most of the friends that we make in life, past high school and college, you don't really make new friends. You may make a couple at work, but other than that, the people you come out of your 20s with, that's it. For the most part, every once in a while, you may come across somebody in life that, you may live out years being connected with them. But I'm still dealing with people I've been dealing with for the past damn near 20 years. That's important because I never want to lose where I come from. I never want to lose what I learned how to be grounded. Like, I never want to lose that. That's what keeps me connected to the history, the good memories, the bad memories. So I never lose myself. There are people out there who get rid of their friends for their relationships and they lose themselves. And then they look for that person to be everything, and they can't be. And then people are unhappy, and then resentful, and then relationships fall apart. It's not healthy.
I don't know, but we going a little deep into this relationship thing.
Facts.
I think we need to kind of sum it up, wrap it up a little bit. We've been
Final
talking
thoughts.
for about 2
Final
hours.
Thoughts. Final thoughts, folks.
I'll start it off. So basically, the topic was about, is there a statute of limitations on forgiveness? My final thought on that is it all depends on you. It all depends on how you come into that relationship, and it all depends on how you want to continue to be in that relationship. Boy,
Pardon me. My bad.
You better go get you some medicine.
No, I'm good. My bad.
You good, Rob?
Okay, like I was saying, it all depends on you. You know, everybody has a certain way of controlling the relationship in a sense, because I believe that that is somewhat a form of control. We didn't touch on that, but we could talk about that next week.
Yes, please.
I do think that is a form of control, and I believe that when it comes to that control all it stems from who you are inside and how you choose to live your life and how you choose to be in a relationship. So some people may be easier with forgiveness and some people may not be, but that's who you are. That's who you are. I feel like when it comes to when and how and what and how long and how many times I should forgive you, that's all within. That can't nobody change that about a person. I really don't feel that way. I feel like, you know, some people are a little stronger than others. Some people could deal with a lot more than others or a lot less than others. So I feel like, you know, just don't give up on something without completely knowing the situation and completely knowing the type of person that you're dealing with, because everybody's not the same. So even though it may be hard to forgive somebody, sometimes you may be so stuck on not forgetting that you may forget that everybody's not the same. You may come across somebody that may have just made a mistake. We can
Facts.
move on.
Rob,
I like that.
final thoughts, sir.
I mean, statute of limitations. I feel like it's a case by case thing. I feel like if someone is willing to apologize or make amends or just let bygones be bygones, like I said, depending on the situation and how raw, like what offenses there, because there are certain things that kind of like not unforgivable, but like nah, get it, fuck out of it. Sometimes it is worth like seeing how things go, giving things like a try. Life is short, but I mean, make it what you want. When you put into it what you get out. When you get out of it what you put into it.
Facts.
Yeah, that's my final thought.
Jazz? Other Jazz? All right.
Jasmine?
It's not fair. She didn't do it. I did it.
All right. So I'll close it out. If y'all got nothing else left to add.
What you
got
say?
anything else? I said y'all got anything else to add before I close it out with my final thoughts?
No. Hold on. I also want to add, you know, I know last week I did say that I was gonna have me and Jasmine's YouTube, the link and everything, but it's still under construction. But next week, definitely, I will have everything I need to present to you guys. So,
all right, so hopefully we could all join your stream. Hopefully we could all join your stream next week.
exactly. So,
all right, here's the thing. This is the thing. Forgiveness is a hard thing to do. Part of the reason why my belief is that there's no statute of limitations on forgiveness, and part of the reason why I'm so hard on people who request it from me is because I failed to exhaust every effort to continue nurturing friendships that I had up to this point and I let things fall apart with certain people, even though it might not have necessarily been wrongdoing on my part. And what I'm saying to everyone is that those things condition you. Everything conditions you. Your brain is like a hard drive. And every time you hit Control Alt Delete, you might be restarting and rebooting and going into another relationship, but you're still carrying those memories. You're still carrying that pain and those experiences into that new situation. That's what you're doing. There's no way to avoid it. The only way to avoid it is to unplug that hard drive. And there's no way to do that without losing everything within yourself that you've built up. So all I'm saying is, don't be in such a hurry to let certain people fall out of your lives just because you think that they may not be the best for you, until you exhaust every possible way to know for sure. Because it may be that in 10 years, 15 years, when you've come full circle in your life, you might run into that person again. And depending on how you last left off with them, could depend on whether or not the next 10, 15 years going forward in your life is going to look like. And I'm sure that that's played out for people over and over and over. So I just think that we should all, no matter what, continue to be understanding to each other. And understand that if you are having a hard time forgiving someone right now for something that they did, don't write off the fact that the shit that you've dealt with before plays a part in that. And the people that have fallen out of your lives plays a part in that. Because if you're looking at that person as being disposable because everybody else treated you as disposable, then it's rightfully so, you're going to have a hard time getting past that. I don't pretend to know everything. I just know what I know. Hopefully we'll be with Jasmine Stream next week. I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.
All right.
Did we out? That was it.
Rob got him out of here real quick.
But hold on. It's still going, so I'm gonna end it, and then I'll hit you on the call. I want to talk to you about something.
Say that one more time.
I said the stream is still going because I gotta go end it. But what I'm saying is, and I'll cut that part out. But after I end the call, I'm gonna hit you up on like my phone.
Okay.
All right.